What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Gold Label exclusive figures. So we have 4 figures here to look at today. So first up here we have Catman, which looks pretty cool. So I put our 2 newer characters that we're going to look at today up front. So we have Catman, which was a McFarlane store exclusive. He looks really cool there. And then we also have Captain Atom, which was a Walmart exclusive. So it looks pretty cool. The new 52 version of Captain Atom. And then behind them we have the Yellow Lantern Batman, which I always love the Yellow Lanterns, and Batman being a part of that is really cool. So having him in that costume is awesome. Now this was a gold label Target exclusive. And then finally we have the vampire version of Superman. So we've already looked at some other vampire characters. So Superman looks pretty cool, very mean and evil, looking like a vampire face. And this was a Walmart exclusive figure. So we have these 4 gold label figures to look at today, and I'm excited to check them out, especially our 2 new figures of Captain Atom and Catman. But let me go and get them out of the box and we'll take a look at them together. So let's start off with Catman, which is Thomas Blake. He's a former wealthy socialite from Gotham City that became a big game cat hunter, but being a gambler caused him to lose millions of dollars. So he turned to burglary while wearing a cat suit. His suit was modeled after Catwoman, but made from an ancient African cloth, believed to give him 9 lives. And many years later, he would end up joining with the Secret Six to get revenge against Lex Luthor, which is what this figure more seems to be from. But he's an Olympic level athlete and the world's foremost hunter and tracker. So he looks pretty cool here. So it's very like Batman-ish, which again is part of his design. He was trying to be like Batman, but took more from Catwoman. But it looks, pretty much like Batman, just in a brown color. But he's got the nice cowl with the ears. So he's got the like little cat ears up top, and then the face of Thomas Blake, which looks, pretty decent. It looks pretty pale skinish wise and stuff, but his teeth all graded there, and his eyes look pretty decent. I think they look like bluish eyes there. So overall, pretty nice with that cowl, and then feeds into the cape. So we just have this cloth brown cape that's hanging off the back there. So nothing too special with that. And then we got his outfit. So it's got this like orangish brown color. It's like more of an orange, I guess you'd say, with this, and brown for like his accessories. But I love the slash across his chest with the 3 stripes there. And then of course the orangish color goes down his arms to his gloves, where he's got the brownish color gloves feeding into the hands where he's got these claws on. So I guess like cat claws. They almost look like batarangs from there, but the 3 cat claws. So he has those on each of his hands. And then we got the brown underwear with a brown belt, nice little buckle with pockets and everything, and holders there for some of his accessories. The orange legs continue down to the brown boots as well. But overall, I think he looks pretty cool. The colors I feel could be a little bit better, like the browns and orange color doesn't really seem to work out too well. But I think overall, just as a figure itself, it looks cool. But we'll do the movement so the head can twist all the way around, can look down that far and then up that far. So pretty decent movements, not horrible. Shoulders come up to 90 with that like butterfly joint there and can rotate around. We get the bicep twist and the double elbow joint that can bend up that far, so not too bad. We get the wrist that'll twist around and can flex on the ball joint, so it's like wherever it is there, it can flex back and forth. Then we go to the ab crunch, so we have the cutout there we can see, so crunch back and forth and twist all the way around. And then you should be able to crunch at the waist, which is very little crunching, and I can't get him to twist around either, so not sure if he's like built a little bit different in there. But yeah, it doesn't move like they normally do. But the hips can come up pretty close to 90, and then out to the side can do the splits. Very little thigh twist on him, but a double knee joint that can bend up that far to the back, so not too bad. And then we get the foot that'll flex back and forth, of course twist side to side, and has the toe joint on the end. So not bad, but pretty standard for the McFarlanes. Like I said, the only thing real difference was at the hips, but everything else, pretty standard for the McFarlanes, and we'll see that similarity throughout the video. But overall, I just think he looks pretty cool, and I love like those claws on his hands. I think it adds just more details to him. But accessory-wise, we do get some additional hands. So we get some hands without the claws, so we get some nice grip hands there to be able to also use these knives. So he gets a set of knives as well. Now we can store them on him because I love having these claws, so I don't want to use the knives for him, but we can store these knives on the back on his belt here. So he does have these loops that we can store them on. So there's the knives on the back of the belt there. So it's kind of weird. This one's like loose and dangling and kind of sits more to the front, where this one sits more to the back, and it's really tight in there. So not exactly sure if they go in certain places, like one goes in one goes in the other, not sure. But yeah, just have to get them in there to get them to work around there. You can have them sort of sticking out from the back there, and with the cape, I think that all looks pretty cool. But I definitely love it, like I said, with these cat claws. That's definitely what I would prefer him to have and be using as his main weapons, as opposed opposed to the knives, or maybe have one with the claw and one with the knife you could do. But I just think he looks pretty cool there for a Catman. Of course, he comes with the base. We have the base we can pop him on, so that'll keep him standing. And then, of course, we get the card for him there from Villains United of Catman, so it looks pretty cool with that picture. And then we have a story on the back for Thomas Blake, but it says morally ambiguous and bored. Thomas Blake worked as big game hunter, tracking big cats and selling them to zoos. His cat obsession led him to the Pacific Island, home of the cat cult, from who he stole the sacred cat carving and the cloth that covered it. Back in Gotham City, Blake became a costume criminal equipped with feline-themed accessories inspired by Catwoman and Batman, including catarangs and a turbocharged cat car. He eventually led the Mercenaries for Hire Secret Six, a team of anti-heroes doing as much good as they did evil acts. So there's a good explanation of Catman on the back. So pretty cool figure overall. Like I said, I really love his design, love those claws on his hands, just very big and dangerous, sharp claws. So very cool overall to have Catman now added to our collection. And next up, we have Captain Atom, who's Nathaniel Adams, and he volunteered to participate in an experiment on a dimensional transfer through M-Theory. He piloted a dimensional transfer vessel, but was thought to have atomized during the experiment. He later reappeared as an energy-based life form with nuclear-based abilities. So his body can form an organic metal armor that gives him superhuman strength and speed, as well as invulnerability, energy manipulation, and absorption, as well as overall he has the ability of flight, teleportation, size alteration, chronokinesis, molecular reconstruction, and energy projection. So he, if you don't know, was supposed to be Dr. Manhattan in the Watchmen series. So I think that's pretty interesting. And when you see in those powers and stuff, very similar to Dr. Manhattan just overall. And overall, I think looks pretty cool here. I believe this is the new 52 version, so it looks a little bit different, especially compared to his original design, which I like a little bit more. But overall, I don't think it's bad. So he's got this all silver armor covering his body, so he looks like Silver Surfer, but nice all silver face there, which I love. The black around the wide eyes just makes him stand out, with his hair sort of all slicked back. I think he looks pretty decent. Nice atomic like logo design there on his chest with some red gloves and blue boots, so sort of an off blue there, but just makes it stand out with the red and blue against the silver there, and then silver just everywhere else on the nice basic design. Again, body design we've had with like Blue Beetle, the Riddler and stuff all had these sort of same body designs overall, but I think he looks pretty decent. Looks like Captain Atom, which of course is what we need. But for movements, the head will twist all the way around, can look down that far and up that far, so not the best movements in the neck. The shoulders can come up to 90 with that butterfly joint around there and can rotate around. We get the bicep twist and the double elbow joint that bends up that far, so almost all the way up on itself, with the wrist that'll twist around and can flex back and forth wherever that joint is. Then we go to the ab crunch in the middle, so crunch back and forth and twist around all nice, and then should be at the waist as well. Yeah, he can crunch back and forth and twist around as well. Then the hips will come up close to 90 and out to the side, close to the splits. A little bit of a thigh twist up in there. The double knee joint that can bend up that far to the back, so not too bad. And then we get the foot that'll flex back and forth and twist side to side with the toe joint on the end. So again, pretty similar movements, just he has that hip joint now that they normally have, so better movements there overall. Now accessory wise, the only thing he comes with is some effects that can go onto his hands to show some of his powers. So we have these effects that we can try and put on him. So there's those effects just on his hands. So I think they look pretty good. They fit on pretty well. I don't know if I have them on exactly, but like I said, I got them on and they stay on pretty well. So having those cool like whitish blue effects coming off of his hand look pretty cool there. So overall that looks awesome. And of course we get the base to put him on. And then finally we have his card. So there we have Captain Atom from the new 52. A nice picture there where you can see some like effect that's supposed to be around on his hand. And then we have his card of Nathaniel Atom. And it says grounded USAF pilot Nathaniel Atom found working at the Continuum, a research facility run by quantum physicist Dr. Megla. Megla wanted Nate to pilot an experimental capsule designed to travel to another dimension. When activated, the capsule imploded and destroyed Nate at a subatomic level. Nate soon reappeared and discovered he had become a living nuclear reactor with the ability to manipulate the quantum field. General Wade Allen insisted Nate was now a military asset and a living weapon of mass destruction. Nate refused to cooperate and instead chose to serve the world as Captain Atom. So there's a good explanation of his story there. So pretty cool overall for the figure. I wish it could look a little bit better. It just seems, just kind of bland with it just being all silver. But I think overall it looks pretty nice, with that new 52 design. So nothing real special about it, but I don't think it's absolutely horrible. And then we have Yellow Lantern Batman, in which a Yellow Lantern chose Batman as its host because of his ability to instill fear in his enemies, but he resisted. And later on, it was revealed Batman kept a ring after the Sinestro Code War, a part of his contingency plan for the Justice League. But when the Crime Syndicate attacked the DC universe, Batman used the ring to fight Power Ring. And with the yellow ring, he has the power to instill fear, energy blast, force field generation, and energy constructs. So overall, this looks pretty cool. I've always loved, like I mentioned, the Yellow Lantern, so having Batman in it is pretty cool, and with the ability of fear and all that has always interested me. But he looks pretty cool, so looks normally, just like a Batman, but has yellow on him, so he's got yellow on his chest, up on his arms, and I love how he has the Yellow Lantern logo up on his chest, and then there on his biceps as well, on the little straps, so that's pretty cool. Some yellow there on his gullet, and then of course he's got the yellow ring there on his hand. Nice utility belt, which this all kind of looks familiar. I can't tell what this Batman is from, but it looks relatively familiar. And then black going down the legs to the yellow boots there as well, and then just has his normal cape on the back to go along with his cowl. But for the movements, we'll get that they'll twist all the way around, can look down that far and up that far, so pretty decent movements for that. Shoulders can come up to 90 and has that like butterfly joint there, but because of the stiffness of the cape, you don't really get to move too much, and then it can rotate around within there. We get a bicep twist and the double elbow joint that bends up that far, which isn't bad. Wrist will twist around. Now this has actually like the old style joint, so we have a hinge and it's probably pinned down in there, so can twist all the way around and then hinge back and forth. So nice having that joint, but it's a little bit weird for it to be on here. And then we get the ab crunch, so we crunch back and forth and twist around, and then should be able to crunch and twist around at the waist itself. And then we go to the hips that can come up just about that far, so under 90 and then out to the side. No thigh twist, but a double knee joint that can bend up that far to the back. He's pretty much kicking his butt. And then we get the foot that'll flex back and forth and twist side to side with a very small toe joint on the end. So this is definitely a weird Batman. Like I said, the joints and stuff seem to be weird and different, like with the hinge on the hands there, which like I said is not normal. He just seems to be built a little bit like different, like he's thicker just overall and stuff. So not exactly sure what body this Batman is built on, but I don't hate it, but it's also just weird at the same time, especially from all the Batman we've ever looked at. So it's just a weird Batman, but I love it though because it's got the Yellow Lantern design to him. Now accessory wise, we get this construct effect, so it's got this nice bat in the yellow, and we've had this before with, I want to say Dawnbreaker, but it's one of the Batman metal characters, like Green Lantern version of Batman. He had this but in green, so has that like still a tentacle like effect, but it looks pretty cool for that. So we can put this on his hand with the bat flying out, so I can't really get it to look too well like it's coming out of his hand, but there we have that, at least that bat like it's coming out of the ring, which is pretty cool. And then of course we also get the base to pop him on, and then we have his card. So there's a nice picture of Batman as the Yellow Lantern from Sinestro Corps, and then on the back it says, deep in the Batcave vault, Batman has gathered various weapons in case of one of his fellow Justice League teammates should ever go rogue. Amongst the contingency weapons is a Sinestro Corps power ring, recovered when Sinestro and his Yellow Lantern army attacked Earth. During the events of Forever Evil, the evil Power Ring and his crime syndicate attacked Earth Zero, theorizing Power Ring's ring of power had the same ineffectiveness against the color yellow as Green Lantern. Batman put on the Sinestro Corps ring to prepare for battle. So there's a good explanation, pretty much of what I already said, but of why Batman finally put on the Yellow Lantern ring. Like I said, just overall, I love this figure just because having Batman as the Yellow Lantern is always really cool. Wish the effect was a little bit better, maybe fit more than just reusing this effect. I still think it's pretty cool that he came with it. So awesome that Batman as the Yellow Lantern. And finally, we have Vampire Superman, which with Clark's alien biology makes it difficult to turn him because a vampire bite would absorb a bunch of solar energy and immediately kill the vampire. But he is hit with a kryptonite spray, which allows Green Lantern and Wonder Woman, which are vampires at this point, to turn Superman into a vampire as well. So he looks pretty cool and gnarly here. So we've had a couple of these vampire figures already, so having Superman is really cool, especially it looks all nice and creepy, almost like zombie-ish. But we can see his face there. Of course, he still has his eyes, but nice like big bright red colors around his eyes. His mouth's all crazy, of course, with vampire fangs and covered with blood that's dripping down. Still has his normal haircut though for Superman, and then he also has nice pointy ears there, which is cool. We have the bite marks on the side of his neck, so where he was bitten, and you'll see that in the picture of the card it comes with. So cool, that's even included with blood coming down from him. Nice red cape hanging off the back there, so nice flow to it and everything, which is cool. And he's got this suit that looks pretty much all black. It could be a really dark blue, but it looks mostly all black. black, but nice logo of the Superman with the red in the background, black on top. Of course, black underwear with the silver belt and black S. And then we get to his hands. That's also zombie-ish with like this grayish green color, but nice weird claws there with sharp points. And then black continues down the legs to the boots, where we've had these before on Superman with the silver bands around the top. So he overall just looks pretty cool. It's just another thing, not a necessary figure, just if you want to do this whole vampire line, but I think he looks really cool for it, and especially perfect in time for Halloween. But we'll do the movements, so his head can twist all the way around. You can look down that far and up that far, so very not good movements at all in the neck. Shoulders come up to 90 with a little bit of butterfly joint and can rotate around. We get the bicep twist and the double elbow joint that can bend up that far, so pretty much all the way up on itself. Wrist will twist around and then hinge back and forth on the ball joint. Then we go to the ab crunch just under his chest, so crunch back and forth. And he twists around just very little, unfortunately. And then we have the crunch at the waist that'll crunch back and forth and twist around there. Then we get the hips that can come up pretty close to 90 and out to the side. A little bit of a thigh twist, double knee joint that bends up that far to the back. And then the foot will flex back and forth and twist side to side with the toe joint on the end. So again, pretty similar movements to what we've had already, so nothing new to look at. But accessory wise, he just does come with some additional hands. So we get some fist hands there for Superman, so if you don't want to have the more claw-like hands that he's got there. And I like how it even has the long like fingernails and stuff you can see there, so that's pretty cool that it keeps consistency with that. And then we just get the base as well. Bringing us to his card, so there's the picture of Superman as a vampire, which looks pretty cool. It's a nice face design there, you know, looks very like Morbius, so that's just pretty cool with the bite marks there on the neck from DC versus vampires. And on the back we have, of course, Clark Kent or Kal-El, and it says sent to Earth from the dying planet of Krypton. As a baby, Kal-El was found by farmers Martha and Jonathan Kent and raised as their son Clark. As Clark grew up, the radiation of Earth's yellow sun gave him extraordinary powers which he kept hidden. Now fully grown, he uses his powers to protect his adopted world as Superman. So again, just the normal standard storyline for Superman, nothing particular to the vampire storyline. But overall, I think this Superman looks really cool. And with that, we can bring in our other vampire characters. So we have, of course, Batman, and then the Joker as well, that have all been vampirized or whatever you want to call it. So those look pretty cool all together now. Like I said, just continuing to build out the line of the vampire versions of our heroes. So pretty cool to add Superman now in with these. Well, that's going to be it for our McFarlane Toys Gold Label exclusive action figures of Catman, Captain Atom, Yellow Lantern Batman, and Vampire Superman. All of these are pretty cool, especially love the Catman and Captain Atom. Love Batman, just like I said, because he's in the Yellow Lantern Corps, just something I've always liked. And then the Superman is cool, but the Batman and Superman we could obviously do without because they're just remakes of figures. We don't really need to add them to the team like we do with Captain Atom and Catman. But let me know what you thought of these four down in the comments, and if you enjoyed this review, let me know with a thumbs up. But and thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.